Well, hello again, everybody. Next day here. Um, just kind of again puttering around. Had to go down to the dump, all that kind of good household homeowner crap. Um, but what I'm going to do here, of course, all of my control pieces are all painted up and they're looking very nice. I'm going to, you know, do some painting, and I figured I'd put the phone down so you can see what I'm doing, and hopefully, of course, using carb cleaner or acetone to wipe off the excess was fine when it was powder coated. So we're going to see, hopefully it doesn't mess up my nice paint job. I did bake these in my toaster oven for a little bit last night, so it's definitely a nice hard finish, but you know, we'll see what happens. If it messes up the paint, then I'll give them a little brush, repaint them, and I'll find another way. I don't know, but you know, because all the inset, I think that says lights on off on that side, and on the top there it's off run and stop. What the hell does it say? Engine stop. So that's what all that stuff says. And so we're going to do different colors and see how it goes. So I'm going to aim this phone down. Hopefully I can, so you guys can see it. Kind of like my sister does it. She kind of has a phone just sitting down by her hands, and it seems to work out well. So first thing I'm going to try is a little red. This is the top of the kill switch, and we're going to see. Normally I use a syringe for doing this, but this is that's pretty good. All right. And of course, you know, it's sitting flat, so that'll look really nice. You can see that. I got to put this so that it's upright. Let's see here if I can find a spot. It has to be perfectly upright because obviously it has to gravity feed down into the thing. So give me a second to find a snappy spot for this to sit, and that works good. Okay. All right, so we had red on that, and I believe that this was white here, and the engine stop I'm going to put as red also, because it just seems to make sense. So I'll do white on that, and the lights will be yellow. All right, so here we go. Like I say, I'm going to just let it cool down inside there. And I'm going to find out if my paint will stand up to acetone. Or in my case, actually, I'm using carb cleaner just to see what happens. So I'm going to give that a second. And we're going to find out real quick here how either it's going to wipe my paint right off of there. I don't know. I've been very fortunate on all of my controls on all of my bikes. I've never had to repaint them. They just needed to be cleaned up. But these were exceptionally corroded. So that's why I'm doing this. I did last year buy a Harbor Freight powder coater, but I don't know why I just don't give it a try. you know, it's an art form and you got to learn it, and I just don't want it right now. I guess that's the best way I can put it. All right, so here we go. We're gonna find out right now. Yeah, I gave that too much of a wipe. So I'm gonna give it a little touch with card cleaner and see how it reacts. Like I say, it might take my paint right off. I don't know. That didn't seem to bother it. So let me give it some more red because I gave it a little bit too many beans, too much down pressure. And I'm just putting just a dab on the very tip of this thing. Just so it fills those voids of the lettering. Okay. I'm wondering if maybe if I try I'm going to let that sit a second. I'm going to grab something that's not as porous as this and see if that helps me. I got to find something that's like not a microfiber, because that has too many filaments. Give me a second here. I want to let that dry. You're going to have to look at it, and I'll, you know, let it dry or whatever like that a little bit. So bear with me. Okay. I almost need, if you can hand me a sheet, is what I need. Well, everything I have is kind of fluffy. So what I'm going to try now, just for the hell of it, I never actually tried it, is I'm going to put my card cleaner right on it before I wipe it and see if that gives me a cleaner wipe. See what it does. Yeah, really too much. Too much of a wipe. The paint, it doesn't seem to be affecting the paint, but I'm giving it too much. Okay, well, I'm sorry this is not looking all professional. This is how I've always done it in the past, but I never had an issue. And this paint that I'm trying right now, it is a actually what I'm going to do, this is a non-enamel paint. It's the only thing they had for red, so just for the hell of it I bought, let me wipe that off of there. Okay, I bought orange. The closest thing I can get to red. It'll look nice, but it ain't gonna be right. But this is all experimental. This is enamel, so it's gonna react. Let me shake that a little bit more. I know this said water-based, which I was skeptical a little bit when I bought it, wondering how long it would last against UV rays and stuff like that. So I think orange will be cool. But it did on the very corners of this control, it did wipe off my paint. So I just might end up redoing. This stuff seems awful thin. Maybe it just needed a better shaking or something. But we're gonna see what happens when I take that off of there. Shake both of these because I got to do the yellow also. I'm not sure if it's my paint on there that's not allowing it to adhere like it would with powder coat. Okay, well, let's see here. Yeah, it's just not. It's not the same. Yeah, I don't like that at all. It's taking the paint, as you can see, off of the really edges. So that ain't cool. That ain't gonna happen. Well, we're just gonna keep experimenting with the white and see what happens, because I'm gonna have to repaint it anyway. And this might force me to figure out that powder coat thing. I can put this right in my vapor blast cabinet and take it right down to bare metal. And see how that works. I had a feeling that the paint was going to react different than powder coat. And, you know, when you're doing this stuff, don't be afraid to experiment. You can always repaint shit, or, you know, whatever. You know, it's not some big scary thing or some new technology. This is pretty basic stuff, but it's you know, when it does lay properly, and like I say, it normally does with the powder coat, it's just instantaneous. It wipes right off there, wicked clean. And works nicely. So I'm going to let that dry up a little bit down inside there, and we're going to give the old turn, which is yellow. And this all might be for no. I might end up having to repaint these things and learn that powder coater if it's to make it right. You know, I've got a lot of motorcycles, so this is there's no urgency to have this bike done. Actually, when it comes down to it, any restoration you're doing, there should be no urgency. You should just let the time take whatever time it takes. Even if you're not doing a resto, you're doing a something as a rider, you know, you want it right. All right, let's see here. Here we go. Yeah, this is not reacting the same way with the paint. You can see that right off, can't you? Maybe I'll try wiping it with spirits instead of, that ain't so bad. Oh, that's better. Actually, that worked out okay. That one went pretty good. I think maybe because there's quite a bit of paint still down the side, those engine stop that was down there. I might have to get a ultra fine pick, maybe the end of an X-Acto knife, and scrape some of that paint out of there. This here, when I sandblasted or vapor blasted, it took all the paint out of there. So I think you can see that. That's not so bad. Okay, well, so that's for that. This one here says start, which is also yellow. I lost my stick. This piece of the control is pretty pitted. So it'll be interesting to see how the paint comes out of there. We'll give that a minute. Just to tack up a little bit. And this one here is set for quite a bit, so we're going to find out right now what it's going to do. Now here we go. Well, that one worked out nicely. You can see that. I'm happy with that, and it didn't, I don't know why that side over there did what it did. What I'll do is I'll tape this, what I've done often, I'll just give it a little quick hit with paint. So I'm happy with that. And of course, these controls are usually sitting, you know, a couple of feet away from you. You put it right up to the face, you can see, you know, slight imperfections in the paint and stuff like that. It is what it is. Okay, so now we'll do that one. And just for curiosity, this is carb cleaner. I'm going to try acetone. Actually, try some rubbing alcohol. If I can find it. That's right here. I always have rubbing alcohol in the garage for when I take off graphics or something like that off a motorcycle. It's the perfect stuff. All right, well, here we go. We'll find out right now. I waited a little bit too long. The paint cured a little bit too much, so like I say, this is a learning thing. How it reacts on paint is a whole different thing than it reacts on. Oh, that's good. Yeah, very cool. So I think rubbing alcohol is the answer. It's a little less harsh on the paint. Okay, all right. Well, I'm happy with that. That's pretty good. I did this as an experiment before I put the camera on because I was just curious to see if I was going to look like a moron or not. So I'm happy with that. And I'm just going to give it a little bit more of a wipe with some oh yeah, there we go. Yep, that's very cool. All right. So unfortunately, I am going to have to touch that up with some paint, and it is what it is. So okay, well, that is my little lesson here. I just figured I'd bring you along for it. I know I did a little brief one on doing the same thing before these were all painted, but you can see that the minute you know, now that it's got a dark black background, it just looks factory. I'm very happy with that. Yeah, it's got a little piece of paint down the side there, but I have no problem with that. Yeah, I want the bike to be, I want it to be right, but this is no showpiece. It's going to be a rider, and there's a lot of you know, imperfections, especially on the gas tank paint. And let me turn this up here because I'm talking to no one. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm going to kind of fade out of this one and I'm going to get the old torque wrench out and tighten up all of my engine mounts, stuff like that, and get my airbox back in place where I had it. Everything was all tied up. Get that in place, and I could do a video of it, but it's one of those things. There's certain things, I mean, you can learn something from, because the airbox and putting a rear fender on, every motorcycle is different, and it's all going to mount its own way. So me showing you is not going to really help you. I mean, maybe, I guess if you're doing a KZ400, but you've got on the rear fender, you've got 4 places where it bolts down. There's no other place to bolt it down. The airbox has 2 places, 2 bolts that hold the airbox in place. So it's pretty, I don't know, elementary, I guess you'd say, you know. So yeah, that's my story. So I'm gonna fade out of this one, and I'm gonna I'll bring you back on board once I kind of get something I think it's worthwhile for you. We're getting close. Very cool. Thanks.